Hey guys, what's up? Zumio here. Had a lot of requests for some BM macros for PvP, so I just thought I'd make this video to quickly explain what I've created and what I'm currently using since 5.0 hit. Before I get into them, I have linked my old macro video in the description. A lot of the macros in there are still good for use. So this video is literally just going to be the BM ones that are new since BM has become the spec to play. So firstly, this is the aspect macro which I'm using. Now aspects are getting fixed in MoP. They are off the global cooldowns, so we'll be able to macro them in with abilities again. But for now, this is what I'm using. Cast sequence, aspect of the hawk, aspect of the fox. And what this does is, it means I can press, you can see the buttons here. So I'm in hawk at the moment. I press it, and I go to fox, and the hawk icon shows. Press it again, I go back to hawk. So basically it's just a simple cast sequence that if you're in hawk it'll show fox, if you're in fox it'll show hawk. So it just allows you to keep one binding for your aspects, which is definitely nice. Next one's just a simple bullheaded macro. You do need this, and you do need to keybind bullheaded, so I add mine to the D key. It's the pet trinket. If you aren't familiar with that ability, it gets your pet out of CC, so it's very important. My Cobra Shot macro is Cobra Shot and Focus Fire. Focus Fire being the ability which gives you a bit of ranged haste and it restores some focus to your pet. I pretty much use it whenever. I mean, I don't wait for the whole 5-stack rubbish. It doesn't really make that much difference. This just means your pet gets a bit more focus, I found anyway, so it's a nice one to use. To control my pet, I'm using two macros. I'm using this one, which is a pet passive macro and a dash macro. What this does is, if my pet's halfway across the map fighting some random mage, I can press this and he will cast dash and come back to me because it will change his stance, if you look at the pet bar, to passive. So that's a pretty nice one to have if you need to get your pet out of a sticky situation. I have my pet attack bound to kill command because, quite simply, if I'm trying to kill command someone, it means I want my pet to attack them. I also have dash bound in there and pet defensive, so that my pet doesn't like go and kill command and then come back, because it can do that if it's on passive. It's a bit buggy. If I press kill command, you'll see my pet changes to defensive stance, so that's quite nice. And again, if I need him to come back, I can press that macro and it puts him back in passive and makes him run back to me. This macro is one I picked off the forums. It's really quite nice, as what it does is it uses the blink strike talent as a means to get your pet near an enemy, typically a focus target. So in arena, say if you wanted to monkey stun the healer, you could use this macro and your pet would blink strike towards the healer, and then you'd have to press it again, I believe, and it would then monkey stun the healer. So you wouldn't have to wait for your pet to run over like we've been used to in Cataclysm. Instead it's instant. So that's quite nice. You can also replace bad mana. You can use like a gorilla pet, because gorillas have like a kick, and you can use kick in here, and what it'll do is it'll focus blink strike and then kick, which is really awesome. This macro is also very important. It's what I called 9 lives because it's my pet defensive macro, my pet survivability macro, and because I'm using a cat I thought the name fitted. It casts Cower, which is the damage reduction ability that the pets have, but this slows them down, so typically you want to combine it with dash to offset this movement reduction. So it casts Cower, cast dash, and puts the pet on passive. So I'll run back to you with its defensive cooldowns up and more or less unslowed, so quite awesome. My Bestial Wrath macro is this. You could ignore the last line because that's just the flavor item that I use with my cooldowns. It's quite simple really. Bestial Wrath, Troll Racial, use my trinket, PvP trinket, and cast Bestial Wrath. It's just a burst macro. And there you go. One thing that you definitely need to do now is switch pets. Now I have these macros set up. I've got 3 switch pet macros at the moment. I've got 1, 2, and 3. And what these do is, if I dismiss my pet, I can then summon a new one, and it's a different one. I have another Spirit Mend. I do the same thing. I'll summon another one, and I'll get another Spirit Mend. You definitely need these. I recommend having at least 3. I haven't found the space for 5 at the moment, but if needs be, I will. You absolutely need these. They are vital. This is a Spirit Mend macro that I'm using. Basically what it does is, I've got it bound to T, and this is a modifier macro. If I don't hold shift down, it's going to heal me. Let me just dismiss my pet to reset the cooldown. But if I hold down shift and press T, it's going to try and heal whoever's name is here at the moment. It's Lord of Magic. So if Lord of Magic was near me, which he isn't, and I press shift T, it would heal him. This basically means that I've condensed my heal into one button. I don't have to have a keybind to heal myself and to heal my arena partner, which is just awesome. Finally, we have my dismiss pet macro. This is basically just a glorified dismiss pet. Just bundles in a couple of the pet cooldowns, because if I have a lion out, etc. before arena, I can buff with Roar of Courage and Fury's Howl if you've got a wolf. You don't really need this, but it's just useful. That sums up, really. I'm using much less macros now than I was in Cataclysm, as you can probably see by the length of this video compared to the old macro video. It's not really an issue. We'll probably have a couple more to make in MoP when we get the new abilities. Apart from that though, this is everything. Hope you found this video somewhat useful. The macros are in the description in a paste bin link, so feel free to go and copy paste them into your macro book. Thanks for watching guys, Zumio out.